Right, well, my next guest was told she was singing before she could even talk. She recently supported Willie Nelson on his Irish tour. You'll recognise her beautiful voice from her duets with her famous songwriting dad, Hermione Hennessy. He wrote iconic songs like Don't Forget Your Shovel and Messenger Boy. She says the thing she loves the most since her father's passing is continuing his legacy.
I've been sitting here so long for you to hear my song again. But all you want to know, have I been on the radio? Who's the biggest star I've seen? What is my favorite scene? And if I get the job, would I sing on Mars? Yes, sir, I would sing on Mars. Well, I'm enjoying myself anyway. And you're paying for it. Thanks very much.
So sweet. Give a really warm welcome to Hermione Hennessy.
If you were to fall and I were to fall in love with you, oh baby.
Well, you say I'd be crazy to love you, baby, but I would if I could be sure that you'd love me.
I want to tell you that I am no angel. I'm a devil in disguise. When you open your eyes, you'll see.
Yeah, I pray to heaven if I wanted an angel. It is you I love, and with you I want to be.
If love is all they say, I'll take it all away. Let's take it all away. If love should come my way,
And you were to fall, and I was to fall in love with you.
la 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 la.
I pray to heaven if I wanted an angel. It is you I love, and with you I want to be. If you wrote the words
And you wrote the melody, forever we'd hold our love in eternity.
if you were to fall, and I was to fall in love with you,
Together we'd sing our love song in harmony. If love is all they say, I'll take it all away. Let's take it all away. If love should come my way,
and you were to fall, and I was to fall in love with you.
la 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 la
That was really, really beautiful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. It's lovely
You look
to be here.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you, so do you. We didn't plan this either, did we?
No.
Red and white.
I found that incredibly moving.
Yeah, it was lovely, actually. I saw it backstage, and he did make me laugh at the end.
Yeah.
I still can't help but laugh.
Which is great.
He had a magic.
Now, you obviously grew up in England, didn't you?
I did.
Where did you grow up?
Sort of south and southeast. I was born in Lewisham, of all places. But when Dad first moved to the UK, he moved to sort of Notting Hill, sort of Westbourne Grove, Bayswater. It was a very Irish sort of community there. And then he met my mum, and they kind of moved around.
Because your dad was another Kerry man tonight. He was from Tralee, wasn't he?
He was,
One
yeah.
of 9?
He was.
So he left, obviously, at the time when there was no money, I suppose, in the 50s, didn't he? And
Well, I
worked on
think
the building sites.
all his brothers and sisters had left. They'd come over because he was the youngest, and he was left with his mum. His dad had died when he was 4 or 5, I think. So I think it was just natural for him. And because he couldn't read and write, because there was nothing for him in Tralee bar being a messenger boy, I think he also felt responsible to his mum to kind of help provide for her. I think he wanted to send money back, but I'm sure he missed his family. But he always said he never knew quite why he left. And I think he always wanted to come home. I mean, he's home now.
Yeah, he is home now. But look, he always kept the music up, didn't he? Like, it was a very musical house, and he loved
When
music.
I was growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, there was nothing else but. No, it was like another language. You know, it was everything he ate, breathed, and slept. And it was, therefore, became everything I loved. I mean, I think I've been very lucky in the fact that I could sing, and I've got those lovely memories of singing with him from when I was so tiny.
Yeah, well, he started singing kind of professionally about 33, wasn't it? And you were about 13.
He was young. He was a lot young. He was a lot younger, actually. He was. He stepped on stage in his early 20s, but he'd never picked up a guitar before, sort of a year or two prior to that, and he virtually taught himself. And my mum said that she couldn't believe this man who walked on stage, you know, because he was obviously very gentle, and seeing that clip of him there, you know, sort of, he was always sort of wringing his hands, and he was very kind, and he was very loving, and he was everything he kind of appeared to be, but he was that at home. But then she said he got on stage, and this crazy man came out. I mean, he was so funny, and the audience loved him. He'd fall off his chair, he'd drop his guitar, he'd tell 95 million jokes, you know, and he'd sing it so fast you could barely make out what he was saying, you know, things like Don't Forget Your Shovel and Messenger Boy, songs that he kind of wrote off the cuff, and she wasn't even aware of. She said, is that the man I'm married to? You know, who's he? It's lovely.
So it's amazing. He wrote those songs, and you mentioned it earlier, but he could not read and write for all of his life, isn't that right?
No, but he was one of the most well-educated people I've ever met, not because he was my dad, because he truly was. It meant that he had to glean information from everybody else, and his use of language was incredible, because he listened to Radio 4, and he knew more about Dylan Thomas and Dickens and Shelley than I did, because he listened to talking books. I mean, he was crazy about literature.
And actually, we have a clip, because there was a beautiful documentary made on your father, The Messenger, after
I haven't managed to watch it yet.
Well, it's really beautiful. There's this bit I saw, and I thought it was so moving, actually, and it's where he talks about how he had met your mother, and I think they were one of their first dates, and he was really upset because he thinks she realised at that moment that he could not read and write. Just have a look at this. It's really moving.
Okay.
She said, where are we? What's that up there, the sign? And I said, that's a sign. And she said, no, what's the name on it? And I said, she said, you got bad eyesight, haven't you? I said, yeah, nearly blind girl. So I said, where is it? And so we gets up close to it, and I said, can you not see it? And she said, no, it's really blonde. And I said, well, I can't see it either. And for some unknown reason, I think she clocked it. She doesn't think so, but I thought she think he can't read that sign. You know, and then once I told her that, and she said, it doesn't matter, we'll find ways around it, you know. I knew then she was definitely the right one, you know. Because that's a hard call, you know, to go with somebody with no job, no prospects, and can't read and write.
Oh, but he was handsome as hell.
Yeah, handsome as hell. And your mother is beautiful too, actually.
Yeah, she's stunning. She's half
Yeah,
Swedish, she's
so
beautiful.
fun.
She's very beautiful. It's hard to watch that. It's tough. But I think he was being very self-deprecating. I think he didn't kind of realise how wonderful he was.
Yeah, because you feel quite strong. But everyone I spoke to about him saying that in the run up to this interview, everyone likes him. You know, when there's people everyone meets, and everyone said he was just lovely.
Yeah, he was that.
Did you love performing with him?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't see how he wasn't going to be a star. I mean, I kind of think I had to sort of put my shyness aside as a teenager and kind of get out there and get stuck in. You know, I really did have a dream. I had a vision. I had it for him, because I'd sort of sit and watch people on the TV, and I think Jasper Carrott, let's say, and think, but that should be Dad. Dad's as funny as him. Dad's funnier than him. you know, and he can really sing brilliantly, you know, and he's good looking. I got it, you know, I completely got it, and I believed he deserved a platform.
But he loved you and wanted you to be a big
He
star,
did.
didn't he? Yeah.
He did. He did. He really did. I think he saw me like a female Michael Bublé. Really, he was always making me sing things like A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square, and you know, all these sort of all these classics. He'd kind of come out and he'd say to me, you know, there's a marketplace for this. I mean, he was very, very sus when it came to music. His knowledge was immense.
But remember, tell me about the time. Didn't you sing on your own for the first time without him, and it didn't work out truly brilliantly? You were really nervous or something, weren't you?
I don't remember when that is. Isn't that terrible, Miriam?
I've probably done too much research on you.
It
was sometime you were playing and he was at the back of the room.
Oh, God, that. Oh, no, I was supporting him because he said to me, now, it's about time you did something, young lady. And I'm like, I loved standing up with him. You know, to sing duets with him was magic. But, you know, I'd kind of be thinking, I wonder if the place is full. I wonder if his suit's going to crease. I wonder if the musicians are okay. Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen if he sneezes? I mean, I was worrying about everything else rather than kind of what I should be worrying about. But that's what you do as a manager, I guess, when you look after somebody, and particularly when you love somebody. But he made me get on stage and play, and I was dreadful. I mean, I was so bad, I fell apart. And he's standing at the back, and he stood for 2 songs, and then he disappeared, and I got worse. And I thought, never again. I must have been about 27. But famous last words, never again, and here I am.
No, but so you were just nervous without him, really, weren't you?
Yeah, what I realised was I'd never do it without a band again. Yeah.
He's gone now. For you, is it easier?
No, it gets harder. I said to a very dear girlfriend of mine who lost her mum when she was 12, and she's the same age as I am now, and I said to her, Susan, how do you cope? How did you cope? And she said, Hermione, it doesn't get any easier because every day you miss them more. And that's the truth. You just learn to live with it. It changes everything irrevocably, but it also makes me appreciate today and my friendships and the relationships with people that I love and making new friends, you know. It's, I enjoy life more. I think it is a blessing and a gift. And it's very easy to say that and say it lightly, but I actually really, I get it now, I mean it, because it could be gone in an instant.
And you wrote a song, didn't you, for him?
I hadn't written in years, you know. I wrote a song called Edge of the Moon, which is on this album that's out at the moment, and I wrote that years ago, and he said to me, you know, you are one hell of a writer, you need to do more of it. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm living with one of the greatest, you know, I've got one of the greatest Irish writers around me. I'm like, yeah, really, I'm going to write. And Dad, no, it takes me forever. And, you know, and you write hit songs, you write songs that people want to sing along to, and I kind of don't have that gift. And I went and wrote with this chap who was Frank's, and I kind of decided I was going to start writing again, because if I'm going to carry on with my career and I'm going to do that, people have been sort of saying to me, you've really got to, you know, make an effort, you've come this far, you know. So I said, look, I reluctantly said, OK, I'll go and write with somebody. So a friend of mine said to me, look, go and write with this chap. He's Frank Sinatra's MD. He worked with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. He's a pianist. He's a lovely man. I was in New York. I happened to have nothing else to do. And he said to me, you know, come round. And I said, oh, no, just send me a melody. I might write a lyric to it. He said, no, come round. So I went round and I sat there and we wrote a melody in sort of an hour and a half. And I thought, phew. And I thought, I'll never do that again. And I left and he said to me, we were in a taxi. He said, I lost my dad 5 weeks ago. And I said, you didn't? And he said, yeah, he said, your story is amazing. He said, but I think you're wonderful, and I think this song should be about our dads. And I went, oh, don't say that. I said, I can't write about my dad, you know. And he said, you will, you have to. He said, I've got a very dear friend. He said, he's a chap called Tim Rice. He said, and if you don't do it, he'll finish it off. And that was it then. I thought, I've got my dad's bug. Right, I'll do it then. And I did it. And I've written it. It's called Hello Again. And yeah, it'll be finished in a week. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's great. But look, you're going to sing for us now.
I am.
But first of all, what are you going to sing?
If you were to fall and I was to fall in love with you, a song, obviously, that I sang with Dad, which I haven't sung since, you know, anywhere, really.
Since he died?
Not really, no.
And I would just want you to tell everyone who you're playing with, who's in your band now.
Oh, well...
Because that's really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. Well, it was always about family for Dad and I. So my sister Amber's on fiddle. She's gorgeous, the darling Amber. And my kid brother is duetting with me. I call him a kid. He's far from a kid. Tim, yes, he's wonderful. He's going to sing with me. And he's my sort of producer, and I write with him. He's amazing. And then the lovely Callum McCall, who's a very dear friend of my dad's. He's got on guitar and backing vocals.
And of course, he's Ewan McCall's son and Kirsty's brother. Yeah, so it's an amazing, legendary lineup. Listen, Hermione, thank you very much for being my guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Not
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah. Mind you, dress then.